and more. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, let's hear it for Blake Johnson. And his opponent standing across the cage, fighting out of the red corner, Lavelle Sosoatu. Here is your referee, Nick Nolte.
You guys got any questions about the rules we went over in the back? You want to touch gloves, do it now. All right.
Let's go.
The 205ers. In the famous words of Junie Browning, I'll fight any of you 205ers. Can't get Volgamore to pop for one joke out here. Both guys battling hard in the clinch. They're both staying 50-50 in the over-under. Neither seem to be looking to swim or exchange positions. They're just firing knees to the gut here, which is a great option. This is mixed martial arts. This isn't pummeling. And a 1-2 to the body.
Nice quick strikes there by Lavelle.
Lavelle slips his head off the center line, firing a straight cross to the belly button.
Yeah, looks very comfortable here on the feet.
And an inside low kick causes Johnson to switch stances briefly. Lavelle throwing his head off the center line and firing that 2 down the middle like a missile.
Lavelle looking to regain his underhook on the right side so he can try to reverse this position, but Blake Johnson is keeping in tough, but Lavelle circles off the cage here.
Lavelle does a great job with an underhook and circles and throws bombs. Lavelle is not only an aggressive and maybe wild fighter, but he's also cerebral with his movements and underhooks and grappling. I don't want to say he's wild and sloppy because he's definitely calculated.
Yeah, the punches are straight down the middle and quick.
Yeah.
They both look really comfortable on their feet, with Blake Johnson being 0-0, and then Lavelle has only spent about 20 seconds in the cage because he scored his last fight so quickly, scored a victory so quickly, and now, but they both look like they spent lots of time in the cage.
Yeah, both seem to be really seasoned and well-trained. And a lot of that comes from just the gym, fighting in the gym a lot. I'm willing to bet that both of these guys have spent lots of time in the gym fighting hard, and they're both exchanging. Sometimes it's hard to tell for me to see who's winning these exchanges because they're both so aggressive and physical, but they're both throwing.
Lavelle looking to circle off the cage again, but Blake Johnson's keeping that pressure. Lavelle breaks the clinch, though.
Johnson seems to be the fighter that's...
Front kick up the middle by Lavelle.
Lavelle sneaks a front kick up the middle, but Johnson answers with the right hand. Lavelle throws a Lyoto Machida, Randy Couture front kick right up the middle.
Anderson Silva Vito Belfort.
If that's what you prefer. But then Johnson answers back with a sniping right hand. And now Johnson's on top into side control.
Yeah, he spent a lot of time in that clinch that round and wasn't ever able to secure the takedown. Does very late in the round, but what an exchange there at the end. That beautiful front kick from Lavelle as Johnson was coming in, and then after he ate that front kick, just followed up with 2 right hands that both landed.
Matt, can you help me pronounce Lavelle's last name?
Sosoatu.
Oh.
I confirmed it right before the fight.
Oh, Sosoatu.
Yeah. I butchered it multiple times in his last fight, so apologies for that. But tonight, Sosoatu.
Sosoatu. I like it. He's a tough guy. Tough as they come. Blake Johnson, Lavelle, Sosoatu. anxious to see what type of pace both fighters are able to hold here with such an aggressive first round. And being such big guys, too, they both show zero signs of slowing down here. They're both calculated in their ability to gauge when to sprint and when to rest. Big uppercut from Lavelle.
Lavelle's very fast for 205. These punches are coming like a 45er here.
So fast. Oh, nice. And I love the way he set that up with 2 punches. And there goes Johnson firing his missile. Johnson's got a right hand, and he knows it.
Nice right hand there by Lavelle on the way in, but Johnson does a good job trying to close that distance.
Ooh, and a crisp 1-2 from Johnson on the money. Lavelle answers with an overhand right.
Nice overhand right. Left hook to the body. Beautiful work by Lavelle.
I was going to call it if you did, Matt. That right hand to the head, left hook to the body. That was beautiful. What a combination.
They've spent a lot of time in this over-under position here in the clinch, both in round 1 and round 2. Johnson finally able to secure the takedown, though, here in round 2.
Yeah, that's huge coming up here towards the end of the round. That can solidify a round.
Yeah, with things being so close on the feet, it could just take that one takedown to really weigh heavy in the judge's eyes. Lavelle trying to work back to his feet here. Johnson trying to circle around to the back.
Johnson keeps the body lock from the ground up to the feet and takes him back down. He's underneath the neck here, kind of. Lavelle doing a good job with 2-on-1 there, tucking his chin, keeping that hand off the neck.
Just about 15 seconds here left in round 2.
Johnson in mount and connecting with punches here. Big hooks to the ears.
Lavelle scrambling.
It's about 10, 12, 13 unanswered punches. We're on 16 and 17. The round's coming up. Oh!
Time.
Saved by the bell if I've ever seen it, Matt Waters. That could have for sure been stopped. And in the amateur bout, if you're hit with that many unanswered shots, we've seen fights be stopped quicker than that.
Absolutely, and I think it was just the move.
And he staggers on his way up. Maybe, I think he might have slipped.
The movement of Lavelle is all that kept Nick Nolte from stopping that fight.
Yeah, he was definitely moving. Yeah, there was definitely no lack in fighting back. Lavelle was fighting with all of his might to get up from that. But, you know, the fact remains Johnson was able to sustain mount and land unanswered shots. And you just never know how an amateur bout's going to be scored. But for Lavelle, and I think it was a good choice too. Both fighters seem to be experienced enough to, you know, not need to be babied or coddled so much here. And, you know, the right call was made to let that go since it was short time. And one of the cornermen almost fell down the stairs. These stairs are steel and not forgiving. Round 3, an extremely competitive bout, ended with Johnson controlling it from mount on top.
Yeah, 2 really, really close rounds on the feet. Johnson just able to secure those takedowns, and you can see Lavelle fighting hard here to avoid that clinch position. He doesn't want to go to the ground again. He knows his best opportunity is here on the feet to try to get a finish. A little bit slower pace here to start out round 3.
You know, these fights have been so action-packed, including these 2 first rounds, that this third round here with maybe a little lack of offense here seems a lot more drastic than it probably is on the grand scheme of things. You know, they're just pawing at each other, and
Definitely.
we're over here spoiled like, give us Leonard Garcia and Roger Huerta now. No pop from Vogelmore. Blake Johnson looked to be a low knee to the pelotas. It looked, I don't know. I'm always skeptical. I'm a big fan of Eddie Bravo. Look into it. You know, I need to see the tape before I'm going to, you know, believe that that actually happened.
Lavelle going to take his time here. See if he uses the full 5 minutes to recover.
While Lavelle is recovering here, I'll notice Kansas City Fighting Alliance heavyweight champion. I don't know, heavyweight, light heavyweight, kickboxing, MMA, maybe all of them, maybe one of them. But heavyweight champion Antonio Martinez is here front row with his son. If you've watched KCFA before, you know who Antonio Martinez is. He's a knockout artist that, as you know, puts people to sleep, if you will.
And always packs the stands. It's one of my favorite things about an Antonio Martinez fight is the crowd is going to be wild whenever he steps into the cage.
Yes, not only are his fists wild, but his fans are wild. Definitely a Kansas City gym in Antonio Martinez.
Lavelle taking his time here, trying to make sure he's recovered 100%.
Yeah, talk about taking the 5 minutes here. He really is utilizing it. Looks like he's pulling on the cup to relieve some pressure from the groin area. Looks.
He's back to his feet. Gives Nick Nolte the nod. Says he's ready to go, and we are off. About a minute and a half left in this fight. See if one man can put a stamp on the round.
Johnson on a body lock. Lavelle grabs the fence, and Nolte doesn't seem to mind, but he does mind on the second time.
Yeah, he got away with it the first time.
It
But
looked like Lavelle looked to grab Nolte to stand up. Johnson lands in mount. Johnson seems to be really seasoned in holding this mount position, landing punches here.
Big strikes here by Johnson.
Yeah, these are rough. These are landing. They're uncomfortable.
Nick Nolte taking a close look.
Oh, and Lavelle builds up to a base.
And that's like we talked about at the end of round 2. Lavelle is taking some strikes, but he just keeps moving, and that's the thing that's allowing Nick Nolte for the fight to continue. Blake Johnson might have him stuck here, though. And that'll be a wrap. Nick Nolte calls a stop to this contest here in round 3.
Great fight.
Yeah, back and forth. The first 2 rounds were just incredible on the feet, and Blake Johnson was just a little more skilled in the technical aspects of the ground game, and was able to control the positioning and eventually score that TKO victory.
Yeah, I think the deciding factor in that fight was the grappling ability in Johnson to be able to find the body lock, find the mat, eventually find full mount, pinching his knees together. And one thing about Johnson's ground and pound that I liked was he's keeping good position in his weight, and he's not putting too much power in his punches. He was really selective with his shots. And if you notice his punches, he was turning them over as if you would when you're on the feet turning them over. So he's bringing technique on the ground and pound. He's not being too crazy like where he's trying to go 120%. It was a really smooth and calculated, fighting from full mount. And I think, where you had a competitive bout everywhere else, that was the deciding factor. And that's the beauty of MMA, where there's a million different ways to win. But both guys showed no lack of grit and, desire to get the victory. That's for sure.
Steven St. John will give us the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout comes to an end at 2 minutes and 24 seconds of the third round. Your winner by TKO out of the blue corner, Blake Johnson.
There you have it, a TKO victory for Blake Johnson.